Hey everyone, this is James. It is March 19th, about 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is my 4-hour chart of Bitcoin. This is BTC USDT. Again, this is the 4-hour chart, so every single bar represents 4 hours. And also, what I want to start out with is this, first of all, is not investment advice. Second of all, I have to just go over the overall trend, so that way everyone knows where we've come from. Basically, you can see that we've been in a negative downtrend, and we've broken out of that downtrend, used that, and then reassumed that same identical down, or very close to an identical downtrend. So what you can see here, it's probably really faint on your phone, but there's a downtrend line right here, and as you see, when I draw that pink line, you can see it's literally almost about the same as the negative red line set that we have here going on. So that's what I like to start off with. I also like to talk about the extreme volatility here, and then you can see the market has somewhat smoothed out. You know, the volume doesn't seem like it's really coming back in at the fast pace that it used to, and you know, that could be a red flag from an overall perspective of the market. But what I also cover too is that you can see from here that we do have a series of lower highs, even though this one's marginal. So the question is, do we finally create a new high, or do we continue the path of lower highs and lower lows? So far we have this reversal here. It's a very small reversal, but then again, the same reversal occurred off the 6,000 bottom and continued up. The only thing that really has me concerned right now is that we are starting to flag upward, and Bitcoin, when it does generate an upward flag, typically that leads to what's called a bear flag by the pattern community. And you know, I consider it a coil. I still think there's still about a 50-50 probability it could deliver another spike up, and we could see some more upside out of this run, and then maybe a pullback from there to create a higher low over this roughly about 7,300 level. But anyways, when price does this, typically it's not a positive sign if history continues to repeat itself as it has in Bitcoin. So anyways, that's just one observation I have here. We have a high pole right here. In most markets, that does get recovered, basically retraced, and then we would have movement from there if this was truly the bottom. So I'm not hesitant to jump into this market. I'm just waiting, just watching, see what it does. I know there's a lot of people that want to jump on it. I said there would be a guppy rally to about 8,800. We got very close. We got up to 8,700 on the Binance exchange, like I think it was 8,689 or something like that. We'll just call it 8,700 to round up. But anyways, I want to see how this pans out. Okay, so we've seen price do this before. If it does create a higher low, that's going to be a positive sign. That's more than likely an indication that the bottom is in here. But if not, and we do roll over and we do break out the 73 bottom, then obviously we know what's going to happen. We're going to head towards the 6,000 low. So those are the two sides of the coin that you have. Some numbers for the upside. Okay, basically, if price can break through, ignore the dotted line is just like where I thought price would arrive to, and that's basically where it got close enough to. We might have another spike up, but anyways, this is the line that we need to pay attention to right here. This is the outer band of the action-reaction line set, and what we have here is that you have about 9,100 to 9,200 roughly, depending on how fast price moves into time and space. Obviously, what occurs at that point is we have a breakout that negates the negative downtrend line set as prior. You can see, let me change the gray line set, that way everyone can visualize what I'm talking about here. Let me make it not bright yellow, that won't work for the screen, but anyways, right here we have the breakout, we have the return, we have the consolidation around it, and then price uses it as a springboard to break out. Okay, it does not always unfold that way. Obviously, there's other indicators you have to look for. This is just a brief summary. This is like the high level overview of price action. So anyways, what we have here is the possible run, if we can get some more consolidation or a nice pullback to create a higher low in this area, signifying that the bottom is in and that the price is going to continue upward, then we need that break of the 9100 level. From there, then price will continue to move upward as the slope is going to change. We're going to go from a negative slope to a positive slope. So it's just very, very basic, high-level overview. Like I said, if we do roll over from here, okay, so what we have here is we have a run built off of a little tiny base. So it's kind of like those big bodybuilders you see. They got the giant upper bodies and the little tiny skinny legs, and it looks like if you just poked them, they would fall right over, and they would never be able to get back up. But anyways, that's kind of what I see when I look at markets like this, when they do these runs. Now, in some cases, it can generate a runaway move. And that runaway move can continue upward, and it can definitely go much higher. And it could realistically hit the 9200 about 9200 level, and then decide to topple over from there. So there's no set limit when price starts to do this. Obviously, there's other indications that you can use, on a more micro scale to try to figure out where that top's going to be. Like I came up with the roughly 8800 range. But anyways, there's always a possibility this can continue running higher. But if we do topple over from here and we do not hold this bottom right here, which is roughly, I think it's 73. Let me make sure I give you the right number on the Binance, 73.22, right? So if we cannot hold that zone right here and we break through it, then obviously the next zone we're going to move back down to is easily about the mid 6,000 range. So those are kind of the two sides that you have here. Based on my analysis, we either break out the 9100, 9200 zone to go much higher, or we break down, take out the 7300 zone, and then move down into the mid 6 range. We could still put in a higher low at that point. However, I do think if we are going to continue this series of basically manufactured runs, okay, very thin market runs, then there's a large possibility we are going to continue churning downward, as I've talked about in my prior videos, where if big money wanted to escape, this is the perfect avenue to do it. You create manufactured runs. They're called guppy rallies. The guppies come in. Basically, the whales devour them as they dump into them. And unfortunately, the small investors get held holding the bag, and somebody has to hold the bag for you, right? That's just the nature of the beast. It's the unfortunate nature of the beast. But that is the negative side of price momentum if we continue downward. So I'm trying to give everybody as objective as an analysis as I possibly can, so you can make of it what you want. This is not investment advice, like I've said multiple times, and hopefully you understand that. This is only for educational purposes. But I'm just, trying to help everybody just understand the flow of price, and this is on a very, very high level. So it just makes it, very easy to kind of visualize what price is doing. And obviously, we can see on a macro scale that there's really not much, positive news behind the price action. So obviously, there's news out there. I'm not talking about that type of news. But when you look at the macro picture, it does not look good. Now, what will look good, like I've said in all my prior videos too, is if we create a higher low. If the 7,300 is the low, okay, and then we have this nice subtle slope upward. Let me just grab a line real quick, and then that way we can kind of visualize this together. But you see that? Like, look at that nice little subtle line right there. Just a nice incline, something that price can build off of, something that could probably, create a long-term bull market for Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency market. It could smooth out a lot of this volatility. You can obviously see that, how it's been funneled through, and now price is, it's just getting smoother. It's smoother. It's still unfortunately down from 11,700, and now we reached 7,300. We're about 8,500. So we've still made quite the move downward, but it's not as wild as it used to be, where we were at 20,000, and then before you know it, we were at 10,000, and then we were back to like 16,000. A lot of that has been smoothed out, and this is great for the market from a long-term perspective. However, the only thing I don't see here, I just don't see big volume coming in, at least, in the sources I'm looking at. And if the volume if money is slowly seeping out of the market, then obviously the runs are going to get smaller and smaller and smaller, like we are seeing on the bigger picture for this market. So there's always going to be money to be made, even if Bitcoin eventually goes to zero, which I don't, I'm not anticipating, but I'm just saying hypothetically. Even if it did, there's still going to be runs. There's still be money to be made on both sides, whether you're long, whether you're short. It does not matter. There's always going to be money to be made in any market where there are buyers and sellers. The question is how wild will those swings be? So the only wild swings we see are very late night market swings, at least for Eastern Standard Time over here in the United States. Most of the wild party starts around 4 a.m. in most cases, where the market I say is really thin and there's not very many people there, and it's very easy to manipulate price. And then on the weekends too. So the weekends are also a great spot to manipulate price, and that's where we see a lot of this radical change. A lot of these radical changes occurring are in those time frames. So that's what has me hesitant when I see these little pops. And I call for the 8,800 because I figured that would be the perfect spot for the guppy rally, which gives us the potential false breakout. We're going to have to see. It's yet to be determined, or yet to be determined here. But we'll see what happens. So I gave everybody the numbers. You have all the numbers to watch. If this is the bottom, great. I honestly hope it is, because I'd like to start talking more bullish about price. I'd like to see people that got caught way up, in the 16, whether it's 10,000, 16,000, 20,000, wherever, the majority of these people are. I'd like to see them make their money back. I'd like to see a market, I'd like to see the integrity come into this market, and bigger money eventually move into this market, and this market start to move like you would see the stock market, like you would see the fiat markets, etc. So that's what I'm hoping for. I'm not hoping for the demise of cryptocurrency or anything, and Bitcoin is the juggernaut in this industry. So I'm not going to go off on a tangent and all that, but basically I'll just leave this little line here. We'll see what unfolds. I do these videos on a daily basis. I might have to scale back though on some of the morning videos. My business is getting extremely busy, and it's getting very tough for me to do the morning videos, and then by the time I upload it to everything, that's another hour of time I have to dedicate to all the other sources that I distribute my content through. So I may just scale it back to one video a day, but obviously I'll have everything laid out. I'm using the 4-hour chart, right? So we're not missing much, and honestly in most cases I feel like I'm rather redundant in my morning video and my evening video. And I also want to branch out more into the US stock market, like the Nasdaq, and then gold as well. So those are two markets that I trade a lot in, and oil as well too. So I'm hoping to just kind of get back to talking more about a larger, diverse investment, just having different various videos out there for investors that are interested in different things outside of the cryptocurrency market. Okay, because if this does go south and this market does start to continue to churn downward, then obviously a lot of the investors who are invested in cryptocurrency are going to think, okay, well, where else can I make my money? And I've made my money in the stock market, made my money in gold and oil, and that's where I like to trade. So I like trading the cryptocurrency market too. I like analyzing it. But anyways, I just want to open up my horizons there for everybody, and kind of focus on some other things outside of just Bitcoin for my various social media platforms. But anyways, I just want to give a quick update there. We'll see what happens tomorrow morning. It's just really, really tough. I manage a business, and basically I'm tethered to a Fortune 500 company, and it keeps me extremely busy, and my work schedule is absolutely insane. So when I do get these videos out, I hope everybody's grateful for it. Sorry for going off on a tangent here. If you do like the content, like it, subscribe, follow, comment, let me know how I'm doing. But anyways, that's the overall picture for Bitcoin. I will talk to everybody tomorrow. I'll try to do a morning video. It's just been really crazy for me lately, so I'm really sorry. But I just hope that everybody has a great day, great night. Sorry for rambling on at the end. I just wanted to kind of flesh that out and talk to everybody about, if you do start to see, maybe only one video a day, don't be alarmed. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just trying to balance two different things here at the same exact time, and it does get quite difficult, especially when you're running a business. But anyways, I hope everybody has a great day, great night, depending on where you are in the world. Thank you for your support, and if you do enjoy the videos, you do enjoy the content, just please share, like, comment, etc.